Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to I'll Go Do tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan. Also, I hate the Purple Rockets.
And I'm Wof. I think that's what happened. And I don't really hate anybody.
Purple Rockets suck. Okay. Bunch of announcements before we get into the main episode. This is a big one. This is a huge one. Marble ManiaX is coming to an end. New things coming soon. Also, we got a lot of we got some fun emails to cover with some very provoking topics. So,
well, it's coming to an end. It has ended.
It's coming to an end. No, when our podcast is over, that's when it's at an end. That's what
I see.
But otherwise, yeah, Purple Rockets, we'll get into that as well. But I have a few announcements. First of all, the intro is now on Chrome. You can now see us talking with the Chrome, not Chrome, now on YouTube. Our intro is now on YouTube. Usually, we would just have the intro be the background and the audio would be on YouTube. Now we have the video and the Chrome up on YouTube. If I ever need the Chrome for the intro, well, like today, then you should go see the Chrome. If you ever just want to look at our faces instead of listen, again, the YouTube is open with the intro. So you should totally watch that. We, for some reason, just didn't do that for so long. I don't even understand why we didn't. And now
I vaguely remember, like, it had something to do with, like, I feel like it felt like it would be awkward if, like, live for the show, we weren't, like, said, let's go to the news, and then we didn't actually have the news playing. I think that was the reason.
I think it was also more like a lack of confidence. So we were like, we just didn't want. We were still newer to our show, and it was like we didn't want that feeling of like, all right. They're podcasting. I joined the show. They're podcasting. I'm watching the stream. All of a sudden, let's go to the news. Not hearing any news. Also, now it's just like we're stopping, and sometimes we'll get into a conversation. We used to get into conversations between parts for 10 minutes or something, and it would just not, because we didn't have a rhythm to the show yet where we really like, all right, we got this. We know what we're doing. So I think it was just a little bit of that. And now we're like, you know what? We know what we're doing. And you know what? You guys are just going to see it. You guys get that the news is probably in post. Come on. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're doing that now. You can go see us in camera the whole time. Second thing, just thought this was cool to mention. I started doing a complete and conclusive every single Mario Kart song in existence, ranking worst to best. The reason I started this was because I started a new job as an intern. I'm working for an engineering company doing engineering stuff. And
very nice.
It's a desk job, so I just sit there and like when I'm doing all the work, I'm allowed to like listen to music, of course, with like AirPods, whatever. And you know that the job is pretty engaging, but it's like sometimes you're just sitting there doing work by yourself. So I was like, you know what? If it's ever slow, I'll just listen to music, and then you know what? I'll just because I listen to soundtracks. Soundtracks are like 4 or 5 hours videos, and I'm like, this is perfect to just kind of background music to get me through the day. And I love Mario Kart soundtrack. So I was like, you know what? Let me just like, as I'm listening, just write all the songs, put them in a big ranking because I love Mario Kart music so much. I was like, let's just do that. So I just like have like, while I'm working, I'll tab over to my list and just quickly type a name of a song in around where I like to have it. So I have it up here in the Chrome so you can kind of see what the ranking is. I've done every game. I'm almost done with Mario Kart 8. And that will conclude every game that's currently come out in Mario Kart, which is crazy. Right now, there are 288 songs that will round out at about 320, 310.
Wow.
It's really, really crazy. For people who are into Mario Kart, you look at the Chrome, you can kind of get a sense of my top 30 here. I can fit that on the screen. Obviously, as of now, since I have not finished, Rainbow Road for Mario Kart 7 is at the top of the list, of course, along with the credits for Mario Kart Super Circuit, Rainbow Road, Mario Kart Double Dash, Koopa Cape, and main theme from MK8. Those are my top 5 right now. Just some great songs, man. The music from the whole Mario Kart world is great. So, yep, I'm slowly working my way through that. And when the video's done, and actually I'm going to upload a video that's just every single song, worst to best, and like it's just gonna be like a 7-hour video. I'll like let you guys know if you guys are Mario Kart fans. There's a crazy amount of songs in this series, so I have been doing that. It's been fun. It's been fun, weird project for me. I also bought new sneakers, and they're black, gold, and white, like the podcast color. So I was like, I gotta mention that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They're actually I'll pull them up on the Chrome that we now have in the intro. Purple Rockets. Armani Exchange sneakers. Yeah, okay. So this is Armani Exchange. I like the brand. Normally I find for me, I have not been able to find sneakers that I actually liked the design of. I always think sneakers look ugly these days, like Adidas and Nike. They just don't look good. But I found these ones. They're on the Chrome. And this black, white, gold. And I just think they look awesome. I bought these. They're so freaking cool, in my opinion. Some of them out of stock. But yeah, honestly, I'm wearing these, and I think they're so nice by far. But no matter. So that's also what's going on there. Another thing, more of an announcement and less of my life. Bill Reeser from the Racing Marble League, okay? He has put up a Kickstarter to try to raise money so we can sell and make the tracks and sell the custom tracks he's making as actual tracks and not just 3D printed files on whatever site he has. The Kickstarter link, I think I'll post it in the Discord server. We'll probably try to post it. I mean, if you just go to his channel, you'll probably be able to find it, or Bill Reeser Kickstarter, you'll be able to find it. It's for people who are really into buying tracks and want super high quality, Marbula 1 type tracks. He's the guy who's making them. He is the only person making these. There are no other people making these. The tracks used in JMR are not even meant for Marbula 1, and they're made by, I guess, Quercetti, and they're kind of their own. They've already been made. There's nothing made specifically for circuit racing. He's got a lot of extra things. He's got a relay track piece with a cue. He's got different types of turn angles. He's got bank turns, stuff that JMR doesn't even do at all. He's got graded tracks that they're bumpy and whatever. He has a lot of extra custom features. It all fits together sensibly. I really hope the project ends up succeeding, though he needs to raise a bunch of money. So if you even just have a 3 pennies you want to throw at him, do so. It will mean a lot to him. Maybe he'll get lucky enough to raise all that money for it. But yeah, I had to mention that. Also, emails. If you emailed in today, and normally we start the show with emails after the news, but we're gonna cover Marble Mania first, and then we're gonna do emails after. We had a couple new emailees, so thank you to those new emailees for writing in. I'm excited to read your emails. Man, they're heavy topics, by the way. Both of those topics are little not mellow yellow, okay? Basically. Yeah, you can email us, mswpodcast@gmail.com. We will respond to your email on the show following whenever you email. That's going to do it for announcements. Wof, anything before we go to the news there?
I guess Marble related, I think we should shout out Biggest Big Takes, which have reached their 100th episode. Which I think is really, really cool.
That's awesome. Congrats to them.
It's an incredible milestone to reach. We both know what it's like to get there. Man. It's insane.
When we reached 100, that was a big day for us. I'm so happy.
I literally left my state for just a few hours just to come back
for 100th episode, dude. I love that. That was so cool. I think that's so cool that actually happened. That we actually did that.
Yeah, it was a great way to celebrate the episode, and cheers to Big Gets Big Takes. I hope you have 100 more, or however many you wish to make.
I hope that you are dead before the podcast is dead. That's what I'm trying to say, because that would mean that the podcast lasted a long time.
And that Marble Sports thrived apparently for our entire lifetime, and probably beyond us.
I would hope so. I hope that I'm dead and Marble Sports is still alive. That's what I hope. I still don't want to die soon, but when it does kind of happen, I want Marble Sports to still be alive. I want there to still be pinkies losing and having to go to the paramedics during collision for jumping into the crowd. I just want that to still be happening. About when am I going to die? Like 20 years from now? About 20 years from now. So, we will see. With that being said, I am going to send us off to the news segment, and we'll see you on the other side for a lot of Marble Mania discussion. Let's go to the news.
Marble Sports fans! I'm Commander Wof here with the Marble Sports Worldwide News. We've got some interesting news to go over, so let's jump right into it. Event 5 of Marble ManiaX Super Collision was a remake of the infamous Fidget Spinner Collision event from 2017, and it was more chaotic than ever, with several additional traps placed along the arena walls. One of the Pinkies even got launched into the crowd during the gold medal match, but fortunately made it out of the ordeal unharmed. The competition was fierce, but the Shining Swarm ultimately took first, followed by the Pinkies in second and the Constrictors in third. And with that, Marble ManiaX has come to an end, meaning we can now crown the champion. After 5 extreme events, the first ever Marble ManiaX champion is the Purple Rockets! While they may have done poorly in Super Collision, their incredibly consistent performance throughout earned them the gold, making them the first team to win a tournament without placing first in an individual event. Very close behind are the Constrictors, who took home the silver, and the Pinkies, who nearly claimed the bronze in a 3-way tie with the Shining Swarm and the Strixes. However, the fans noticed several scoring issues and mistakes with Super Collision that would affect both the event and overall standings. After seeing these errors, JMR has taken down the video and will be correcting many of these mistakes, so once it's back up, we'll be sure to update you on the final results. That's all the news I have for you. Sorry it was a bit of a sour note at the end there, but hey, them's the breaks. I'm Commander Wof. You are the best fans in the world. Let's kick it on back with the podcast.
And we are back from the news. Thank you, Johnny Woff, for that's what I'm going to call you now, for doing the news. Appreciate it. Always appreciate it. Why would I not? Because the news segment would not exist if I did not appreciate that you were doing it. So,
I accept your appreciation. Maybe I should actually make a completely different persona, pretend
Johnny
it's not
Woff.
me.
just put on a different accent or something.
I'm Johnny Wof.
I'm Johnny Wof. So, all right, we're gonna get into Marble ManiaX, guys. We're gonna get into Marble ManiaX. So I do want to mention one thing. I'm really excited about the Racing Marble League channel. I'm really hoping the Kickstarter. So I got completely distracted by the YouTube content. Why are you saying "from" so many times? You mean, why did I say "from"? I don't know. I'm just an idiot. I'm an idiot. Chat. That's why I'm doing that. Racing Marble League, they started the Kickstarter. I'm hoping it succeeds. But I also noticed something. Back in January 9th, on January 9th, I texted the Bill guy because we keep contact because, we work together. And I was like, dude, I saw your channel's at 2.34 thousand subs. Because I was like, before it was at 1.7. And over the last couple months or the last few months, I guess it just grew because I haven't checked it in a while. Good to see that it grew, even though we kind of didn't post that much stuff. That's awesome. I'm excited. That's January 9th. February 9th, it's really February 10th or 11th. It was a couple days ago, but basically around the month later, I look at his channel. His subs are up to 2.83, which is exactly 500 more than where he was a month ago. And I thought that was amazing because he didn't post a video. He didn't do anything, actually. We did nothing for the channel completely in the last month. And he gained 500 subs. 500 subs. That's a lot of subs to gain when you're a small channel that hasn't posted a video in months. So I thought that was amazing because for that to happen, your content has to be substantially good for people to be.
As someone who owns a channel that is small and also does not upload often, I can tell you from personal experience, yeah, that's quite the growth.
That is bananas growth. That's not even crazy growth. That's bananas growth. So I wish there was a banana themed marble team. No matter. Orange, no, we have a Rangers. Mangoes is actually going to be in the tournament for
I
Racing
feel like there
Marble
was
League.
an idea for one at one point. I could have sworn.
How about like the monkey bananas?
The bananery or something? I don't know. I remember hearing the term bananery, and I think I might have come up with it at some point, but as a joke. I don't know where.
Banana roll.
We've talked about marbles for is it almost 3 years now, right?
That's crazy.
I think it's almost
too much time.
Actually, I think we're coming up on 4, right?
No, I started spring 2019. We went through spring 20 and spring 2021, so we're coming up on 3 this March. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on 3 years now. But point is, we've talked about marbles a lot, and there's thousands of hours. I think at this point, I don't remember everything I've said at this point.
Yeah, but oh yeah, I don't either. But bananas is what I'm trying to say though this time. That is awesome for the channel. I think they especially they continue to make content like that. I mean, bro, we're gonna have 2 big marble sports channels that are worth tuning into there. So awesome stuff. I have a lot of high hopes for that. Marble ManiaX, the Purple Rockets come through and they bring it home for the first win of season 1. Hopefully season 1. Hopefully there's more seasons of this. I really enjoyed Marble ManiaX. I want to see an 8-event series next time as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Purple Rockets fan because I think the name sucks. I actually have always wanted to have a purple team, so there's that. So that kind of fights me, but I just hate the name by far. It just seems like stupid to me. But I mean, congratulations to them, and they came away with the season with 2 silvers and 2 gold. So I mean, not only were they consistent, but they also honored the other rule that I always talk about: is you have to get golds to win. You have to get a gold to win, and you have to be consistent.
I don't think did the Purple Rockets get a gold? I don't think they
got
did.
2 golds. Yeah, they won obstacle course and they won. This was said. I have it on the. I'll put it up on the Chrome here.
So no, you're right. I'm sorry, I got confused by EG's pose, like a champion without a gold, and I'm realizing now he meant just the final event, not like the overall.
Yeah. No, wait. They have 3. No, they have 3 silvers. They are a champion without a gold. Then how did they? No, I swear. No, Greg said this during. I was listening today, and Greg was like, they won. What? Then Greg was wrong then. Unless he was talking about another team, but no other team. He said...
Maybe?
I swear there was a bit in this video where Greg's like, Purple Rockets had got runner-up in these 2 events and also won these other 2. That might have been... Because I listened to that and I was I thought the Purple Rockets never won.
Greg apparently made a mistake, yeah.
Oh, he did make a mistake? Okay, cool.
I mean, it's not the first mistake he made in that video, so...
Oh, yeah, so... yes, I did. Live chat person who's now in Discord, I did mention your question. So, yeah, Greg made a mistake, and I actually went along with it. I trust Greg so much that I just was like, oh, it must be true, even though the stats say no. But yeah, I guess Purple Rockets didn't win a medal. So they were just consistent the whole time. Greg, come on, man. 3 silvers, though it was only 5 events. So I do stand by that you do need a gold if you have a Marble League amount of events. You need to have some sort of gold there to be able to win. But, I honestly didn't think they were going to win it all. I was hoping for the Strixes, who were tied for 3rd. And the most disappointing for me would be the Balls of Chaos. Right? If I want to really look back at these standings. Because Balls of Chaos are a team that they've been involved in marble sports for a while, and not only that, but the Balls of Chaos have been decent in marble sports for a while. To say I'm disappointed in the Pinkies for not winning is not really a useful statement because the Pinkies are never really good. To say I'm disappointed in the Shining Swarm, I mean, the Shining Swarm doesn't even really compete. They're lucky to get out of the showdown on any given day. Blackjacks, who are the Blackjacks? But the Balls of Chaos. The Balls of Chaos are a team that we've seen perform, and best teams like Savage Speeders and No Rangers, best teams like Green Ducks and Raspberry Racers in other events. And for them to be last by a 10 full points is a very negative and disappointing finish for them. Especially since they hosted the Marble ManiaX. And their niche is supposedly chaos and extreme sports. And it looked like, it looked like putting the blue fastics out there. That's what it looked like. Wof?
Yeah, no, like, they did awful. I'm not gonna say it's the host curse, though. I still stand by that doesn't exist, no matter what. Even
I agree.
if they did do
no
trash.
host curse.
like, I don't really know what it. I think I would chalk it up just to like this is a different style of competition. It's not Marble League. That's it. Like it's just not like there's some events that are similar to Marble League, sure, but they're like. With the exception of Super Collision, which we're going to get into, it's not really different from what they have dealt with already.
Yes, but the premise of the Balls of Chaos hosting this event is that this is their niche of skill in marble sports, right? This is what they thrive at, right? It's like if the Snowballs host a Winter Marble League. You expect the Snowballs to do good. It's a Winter Marble League. Their name is Snow. You literally can't make snowballs if it's not winter. You cannot do it. Try to do it. Try now. If it's summer, if you're in the southern hemisphere right now of the earth, which no one listening to this probably is, but if you are, welcome, by the way. Email in, tell us. MSW.com. If you're in the south right now and it's like summer for you guys right now because it's February, or even if you're just in this like Florida area, which I am, and it doesn't snow here, try to make a snowball. You physically cannot achieve that task. So you'd expect the Snowballs to do good in a winter thing that they host because that is their niche. That is their origination and their character. So I'm just saying Balls of Chaos, if you have an extreme sports event, you're not expecting them to be by far, 18 over 8, but from 7th to 8th there, the last place finisher in that event, especially since they will never finish last in Marbula 1. They will never finish close to last in Marble League. They will never finish close to last in pretty much anything else. I don't even probably did fine in the stupid amazing maze race that everyone likes to bring up. All right, they don't finish last very often. So to see that in this particular series was very surprising for me.
Although that kind of fits their namesake, like chaos isn't predictable; it's surprising. So so them performing bad is actually kind of fitting, in a way.
I guess that's a weird way to try to twist that into something that works theoretically, but I guess fair enough. I'm
just trying to lighten the blow for the team.
Sure. Okay, we'll go with that. Yes, we are chaos. And to keep you on your toes, we are going to fail this event completely because no one saw that coming. That's what we'll do.
Sergey says that they've been bad for a while. I need to look at the chart. I was trying to make a chart for a while, but basically, even if they I don't think anyone expected them to do this poor. Even if they lost, they didn't. I don't think anyone expected them to lose by such a wide margin. That was just really bad.
Yeah, that was substantially bad, even compared to if their Marble League performances have been under par lately. And even on that, even on saying that, person in chat, I do want to say that there are events in Marble League every single year where the Balls of Chaos finish on the podium and do better than teams like Savage Speeders, do better head-to-head against teams like O-Rangers. And that's true. That's a true statement. So, I would say it's still very, very surprising. And oh my god, chaotic that they didn't finish above last place. Fidget Spinner Collision. I'm not calling it Super Collision. I hate the name Super Collision by a large margin. I think that Super Collision and Minty ManiaX are my two least favorite phrases in marble sports. While Black Hole Funnel is actually an epic name, but an awful event. So, Super Collision, whatever. Fidget Spinner Collision.
I didn't hear the first part. I heard the Minty ManiaX was your second. What was your first?
Super Collision.
Least favorite word? Super Collision.
It's a stupid name. It really is a stupid name. that's like when they created Super Mario Bros. And then the DS came out and they're like, oh, new Super Mario Bros.
New Super Mario Bros.
Collision. Super Collision. They should have called it Fidget Spinner Collision or just called it something more, It's something creative. I mean, like, all they do every day, or at least
Collision plus
like,
fidget spinners.
all they do is every day is just spend time making marble sports. So I don't understand why they can't take 10 minutes and be like, all right, let's do better than this. The event was fun, though. I'm going to let Wof start. We're going to rate this out of 10. We'll talk about the highlights and our opinions. I'm going to go play this event on the Chrome so you can kind of like see it.
I wonder if maybe we should do like the whole pros and cons thing like we did last time, because that actually was pretty effective.
Okay, I like that. Pros. So let's start with pros from your end, Mr. Wof.
And then after like the pros and cons, we can do like the overall.
Yeah, because that will help us collect our thoughts appropriately, probably.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so pros. So this version of Collision fits better in this style of event than it did in Marble League, which was almost about the same level of chaoticness. Because we complained about that, like I think near the end of, and like I think 2 Marble Leagues ago, like with Collision, like there was so much going on that we felt like it was too much. It was hard to keep track of.
We postulated that, we'll say.
And so, like I think having that level of chaoticness and traps and whatnot fits more in an extreme event than a standardized competition like Marble League.
That's fair. That is a pro. It fits better in this style. Any other pros for you, Wof?
Let's see here. I did enjoy the energy of like the marbles like, flying about. Like it felt like there was a lot of energy going on, and so I can appreciate that. Like, in case you can tell, I'm really struggling with this one, honestly.
You're not a big fan?
Like it's Collision, but like we'll get into the cons, but there are some issues with just like it's like I think I am like it was just so hard to follow, man.
It was tough to follow. Here, okay, let's do some pros. We can be really basic with pros. You can be really basic with pros. I'll throw some out there. No one got injured. First pro, no one got injured. This is true. I'm watching the event.
True. Okay,
I watched the event before. Fair. That is a pro because, I mean, a con would be someone getting injured. So a pro by definite would have to be. Like, it would just have to flip. No one got injured. That's true. Pro 2, it's Collision. Collision is one of the most favorite events in marble sports. Collision is fun. Collision is fun to watch. Collision has that marble chaos, supports the marble chaos theory, so people usually enjoy it. So that's a pro for me. It's Collision. There's a lot of chaos. It's not repetitive based on any of the other events in the Marble ManiaX series. It's not repetitive based on any events pretty much across marble sports, besides Collision itself. But again, right? It was used at the right time. All right? Another pro, I think that the use of certain traps was very wise to how instead of having just dominoes on the edge that served as breakable barriers, they actually had different ways of making barriers, like the dominoes wrapped in the rubber band, which were much harder to hit over, but if they were snapped, they really made an impact because they were wrapped in the rubber band and then snap, boom. But they were harder to hit over, so it made it less like marbles, especially with the fidget spinners and how fast marbles move, it made it less likely for marbles to really just, all of them to just hit the fidget spinner and break right through the wall. You had a good use of ball bearings, and you had ball bearings that had vertical aspects. That's another pro. Vertical obstacles. The ball bearings on the right and left corners, if you're looking at the Chrome, of course, you see have the clothespins that when released, when you hit those bricks, if you're confused about what's actually happening there, it took me a second to realize it. Those little bricks are within the teeth of the clothespin. When you hit them out, the clothespin nose goes down, which makes the back of the clothespin go up as it closes and it launches the ball bearing into the air. That's a fun vertical obstacle. Yeah. You don't see much of that in marble sports.
I will say that is pretty cool, yeah.
Those are pros. Those are things that are I can say are good things about this event. I actually missed, I know people were saying that there was a lot of mistakes, so I'm going to let
You can see one right now on the screen.
More covering them, but I'm going to let Wof cover those in a sec, because I kind of missed them, because I was more, I just kind of missed them, I guess. But yeah, those are pros for me. Honestly, Collision is always a big deal for me, and the fidget spinners did not cause an injury, so I'm going to go, again, general, those are the pros. So I think Wof is more on the cons here, though, so let's try them out. Talk about some cons for me, Wof.
All right, so as we just saw on the screen a few seconds ago, they started a round without spinning up the top left fidget spinner, which would have made contact with like 3 different marbles at the very least, which would have changed the results of that round. Like that's a that's a mistake. Like again, it's too chaotic. It's so hard to follow. Like you can't it's like just so absolutely insane. Like part of the thing that made Collision fun was that it was a very strategy heavy event where like that was heavily dependent upon the formation you kind of went in with. Whereas now it's like just kind of like almost luck of the draw of whatever thing you managed to get hit by. And so it's like it's hard to figure out like, oh, what's going on the screen right now, who's doing what, because like before it was already a fast-paced event. And there's so many marbles to try and keep track of that to try and keep track of all of these obstacles and marbles being launched at high speeds from like fidget spinners. Like it's just so hard to follow. Heck, even Greg at one point actually didn't realize that a round was starting, and he thought it was a replay. Like it is just there's just so much.
Yeah, I am seeing here, if you see up on the Chrome, I actually have a critical error, a post saying the critical error in final Marble ManiaX event. Of course, the constrictors and the blackjacks, the score be counted wrong, which if it was counted right would have resulted in a tie between the two teams, allowing for a tiebreaker and possibly changing the course of history there. If you want to go as far. And then this brings up a big point. And we're going to get back to, I'll mention another cons in a second here, and then we'll rate the event out of 10, as you're hearing as much of the facts as we can give you. But I'm just going to pause for a second to address what's going on here. So, of course, this guy who wrote it and explained the mistake does kind of preface the actual mistake itself by talking about how he thinks Marble ManiaX in general was not great. He says delays everywhere, teams that weren't too rootable, and some boring events. That being said, there just haven't been many bad errors until now. And Gel himself then responds after all this and saying, thanks for the report. I'll agree that Marble ManiaX production was a big mess. We are discussing now what we will do. And then someone else saying this is a huge mess, to be fair. And then some people trying to defend delayed, but some people like delays everywhere. Didn't deliver the classic JMR hype. And I have to say to this, and we talked about this before in a couple episodes ago, where I was like, people are complaining about things, and we complain a lot. We get very picky. But if we step back and look, I mean, Marble ManiaX is pretty cool. And I'm going to put it like this.
It is.
I'm going to put it like this right now. Listen. With the exception of this mistake, because this is a numbers mistake. If you make a numbers mistake, it's a problem. I have a problem. If you want to talk about my first big con, the fact that this happened. You can't count to 7? I can't count to 7. Everyone else besides me can count to 7. Everyone else. Okay? 7's easy. 7 is not even 8. Okay, so come on, all right? And you have all the time to make sure this is right. Count to 7. Double check your work. It's the only work you're doing. Gel makes a living off this. And so, I mean, if this was a side thing he did and he had a 40-hour-a-week job, I'd be like, all right, I understand every once in a while this can be an error. This is what he does for a living. Double check your work. Count from 6 to 7. Come on, okay? That's annoying.
EG brings up a good point here. The staff basically think that the JMA who are in charge of like the videos and stuff only had 4 hours before release to review the video,
which makes it hard. But I would argue to you that Yella himself should be checking those videos anyway and catching big mistakes, like not counting the score right. Don't you think?
I mean, I'm sure he does, but like back when the JMRC was around, we saw the list. Like they had a lot of time to prepare ahead of time to really review things, work on graphics, which is why you never saw some big errors. Like in this one, where there was one time where the logos and the team names were not on the same side of the board, so it was confusing like which score was going to which team. Like it made like, and then there's also the counting error, which more likely would have been caught earlier. That way they didn't give Greg the wrong script to read, because like they remember they give him like brief bullet points, I think, to keep on track, but like, so like they need to, at the very least, they need to catch these things before they send it to Greg, so that way he records the right information. So like it feels like for whatever reason the chain of command and like order of events for like preparing this video and this event were out of whack, because there's no way Greg recorded this in 4 hours, which means that like the review happened after Greg had already recorded his audio, so a lot of things were already set in stone and there wasn't much they could do.
That's fair, and that does pose some problems, and I think that needs to be worked on. Obviously, the numbers mistake is huge, and there were smaller ones, like you said, with graphics and stuff. And those things are problems. Those things are things where if you set a bar, if you set an expectation, and then you I guess, limbo under the bar, if you want to use some creative language, with your production ability, then people are going to get upset because people will be like, we always are used to this, and why are you doing this? And it's the worst time to do it when you're proposing a new event, a new tournament. If you do it in Marble League, it sucks, but it's like, this is Marble League, it's always been good, whatever. If you start a new event that has all this just general confusion and general, uneasiness or unsure how the fans are going to react from Gel's perspective, then you need to not make those mistakes. Other than that, though, I do want to say this, and I believe this is true for most people. Let's pretend, because again, we're ripping up Marble ManiaX a lot. Let's pretend that you had never seen Marble Sports before. We're back in 2016, and this comes out. Like, the videos we're seeing today, in the quality we're seeing today, come out, right? I mean, what's your reaction back then? You know what I'm saying? What's your reaction back then? Are you going to really be like, oh my god, the Blackjacks and the Constrictors' names were switched. I hate this forever. This was a mess. There were delays. It didn't meet my schedule. No, you're going to be like, dude, this has never existed before. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And that was what we said back in 2016 when we started. And by the way, please go watch this video, because I'm telling you that Marble ManiaX, quality-wise, and probably with a number of mistakes, is either number of mistakes probably equal or less, and quality-wise way better than 2016 Marble League. But because 2016 Marble League happened when there was no bar set, when there was no previous Marble Olympics, we were like, this is amazing. Yeah, you got a number wrong, but like, look at what you did. But now because it's been here a while, we're getting very nitpicky, and there's been a bar set. Now we tear up something that's easily the most creative thing JMR has ever done. Easily. I've been for years and years talking about how I wish JMR, and I can say years and years because we're almost at 3. I'm talking about how I wish JMR would bring even more intensity to some of the events. Fidget Spinner Collision I loved. Funnel Collision, whatever that 10 out of 10 was, that event name was. I love that event. It was 10 out of 10. Okay? The extreme diving, that was very cool. The domino bowling, that was bananas creative. More than half the ideas from Marble ManiaX were crazy ideas that me and Wof had on the podcast between episodes 30 and like 70. And we're like, yeah, maybe that would be cool if I was in. I would love to see that. I don't think JMR would do it, but I'd love to see it. Boom. They happened in Marble ManiaX. Domino bowling, we had that idea. We actually had the idea for some sort of bowling game. We talked about that on the show. How they improved diving was kind of what I talked about with how they should improve diving when we addressed diving. This more relates to the other thing, but doing the elimination race right, which they also did in this one, and also Marble League, we've talked about that. So some of the events is stuff we've mentioned and been like, that would be crazy if they did that. The funnel thing, we didn't really specifically want that specific way, but we've talked about how Black Hole Funnel sucked and how we wish we saw it. So, I mean, we've mentioned a lot of things we wanted to happen event-wise, and then they do kind of happen. The changes were made, and some things directly lined up with ideas we had. So I have to say, I have to appreciate that. And even though there's some delays and some problems, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I look at Marble Sports and I'm like, am I watching this video and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing on the screen? And honestly, in most cases in Marble ManiaX, yes. Yes, I am. So I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to try to rebase our perspective a little bit and be like, yeah, there were dumb mistakes. There were delays. There were really stupid mistakes with copyright and everything. But I mean, we have some good, very, very creative ideas here. And, to address the thing about unrootable teams, I mean, they're new teams.
Yeah.
Okay? They're new teams. Of course, they're going to take time for them to become rootable, especially, like, imagine if, like, a new NFL team, like, imagine the NFL was like, okay, let's have a new team join us tomorrow for next season. Do you think everyone's going to love that team immediately? No, they're going to have to be there a couple years. And then they're going to have to do something interesting, like get to the playoffs or something. And then they're going to garner a fan base. Right? Especially since there's no, like, cities to relate the Marble League teams to. Where, like, all right, well, I'm from that city. I have to root for them. Like, that's what happens. It's a new team. Give it time. Honestly, I think the Strixes is a great team. I think Noxious Ivy is a great team. I think Purple Rockets is a fun team. I don't like the name, but I love the purple. I mean, that's a creative addition. I mean, I really think we're being too negative here, but I still see the validity of all the corrections we're making. And so did Gel. I appreciate that Gel said that he noticed it, and now they're going to work on it. So that's always good to see from a creator. But that's my little Marble ManiaX soapbox. Well, back to you. Anything to say? And why don't you rate that event at a 10? Yeah.
Well, like I still have a few extra cons, but
Go
I do
ahead.
want to point out, like, my cons, like, this is about this event specifically. I'm not like hating on the entirety of Marble ManiaX here. Like, Marble ManiaX I think is actually a pretty cool thing, and I've enjoyed a lot of it. It's just that this is the final thing that we got from it this season, so it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. But other thing, like there. Okay, I don't know if this is nitpick or not, but like the overhead camera. Well, like there's two things. One, the overhead camera, like sometimes it would shake, and like it would like make it very some of the shots blurry, and like it seems like a very amateurish mistake to make given how long they've been doing this.
True.
And then another thing is like I think the second run of most collision rounds was not given replays, which is probably one of the reasons why it confused why Greg got so confused, because like sometimes there would be replays for rounds and other times there wouldn't be, and so it's like and that's been a problem with some of the other events, like just like showing replays of or highlight of for specific runs to kind of show what the big moments that were maybe too fast to catch. Like there was a lot of problems and slip ups with this event, and like it feels like this, based on the amount of time that the JMA members had to review this, it feels like this event was rushed out the door.
Yeah. I will say that it gives off that vibe because of the mistakes, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't catch a lot of that stuff when I watched through. I mean, probably because I was just focusing on the scoring. My brain did like subconsciously, like some of those numbers seem like they're probably off. Because but then again, I just assumed that it was me not seeing marbles on the field. Because I have to be honest, it was hard to see the field. My biggest con for this event, and this con is probably it's probably the most important of them, and it probably was caused by or caused a lot of the other problems that you saw across the video, was that the field is hard to make sense of. It's a big field, and the shadows that were cast made it really hard to see marbles, and especially when we get this side view here, and there's so much going on in the field that it is tough to actually see which marbles are which. See, there's a marble hiding down here in the right corner. Ball bearings look like the Shining Swarm. Ball bearings look like the Shining Swarm. Ball bearings look like the Shining Swarm in this case. They should honestly use dull marbles for ball bearings. Or just somehow make it clearer. I don't know how they do that. Lighting change, maybe even recoloring some of the arena, or I don't know, something. They're gonna have to do something, but it's tough to see on this arena what's going on. There's shadows everywhere. Mm-hmm. They need an overhead light to reduce shadows. I don't know. I actually don't. No, but I know what I'm viewing, the experience that I get to view, and it's an experience that has confusion in it. And obviously that's why Original Collision probably still holds better as an event, because Original Collision has less going on the field, so it's kind of easier to tell, I will say. And if they don't overdo the ball bearings next time they do Original Collision, because we said we cautioned them on that the previous time, like it was almost too much, then it should be fine, and that one's a lot more easy to understand. But when you add the fidget spinners, a bigger playing field, all these traps, all these ball bearings, and you have like, this is a lot of shadow. I mean, look at the thing right now. There's shadows everywhere. I mean, that makes it really tough to see what's going on, which just makes the whole event kind of like you're watching action you can't comprehend.
Mm-hmm. Before I submit next point, I just want to point out, Brendan, that your mic's covering your face, so like we can't actually see.
No, that's totally fine. No one wants to see my face anyway, yeah.
Well, like, there is something else I want to bring. Like, I know I mentioned that as a pro, like that this, like this is very similar to the 2020 Collision, and that it fits this style of extreme better. But that's also a con against it, because it's, aside from the fidget spinners, it's almost the exact same as that Collision style, so it doesn't feel like it stands out enough to be categorized as an extreme event. And again, that's their problem for going too hard with Collision in 2020. But that had repercussions here. Like if you don't like go more too like again, like I didn't want them to go more extreme, because if they did, then I think it would be impossible to catch anything, and it was impossible to enjoy. But like that's I think that's just the biggest indicator. Like you can't like Collision has to be toned back in ML. It can't be like it was in 2020. It really needs to be pulled back. I think at least a 2019 level. 2019 I think was the most acceptable level of traps and obstacles that were included, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, and I think if you actually take that perspective, and the event's really rushed because they didn't actually change up anything based on compared to regular Collision really that much. They actually literally just reused an old event that was then banned because of Momary. So, I mean, when you put it like that, Event 5 really seems really shitty compared to the rest of Marble ManiaX. I mean, what can they do? I love the bouncy ball. That's another pro.
Bouncy ball is fun.
Big pro. Back to pros. Bouncy ball. Oh, wow. Bouncy ball is a full point on the rating scale. Like, if I was going to give this a 6 out of 10, it's a 7 out of 10 because of the bouncy ball. Like, that's a fact. I don't know if I'm going to give it yet, but that's true. Bouncy ball is amazing. And the use of it's awesome, and it perched up there like on a throne before it comes down. It's just really, really exciting. I
remember when I saw that happen, like I was like, how's that ball bearing bouncing? It's like, wait a minute, that's not a ball bearing. It's a bouncy ball.
Wonderful. I think that there has to be some I don't really know. I don't really know how to include Collision but make it different enough that it makes sense. The only thing that would make sense to me that would really be changed up would be like 4 teams all coming from different angles, and like not all the team, but like 2 marbles from each team and all coming in a 4-way direction. So there's more like visual chaos, maybe dumb down the field a little bit, blank it out, but just allow for that more directional chaos. I don't know. That still could be really hard to follow. Again, the simplest is always the best, and that's why, of course, Funnel Collision has like 10 out of 10 because it's just so simple, but it's so good, right? And that's what's going wrong with Collision in this case. We're taking something that's so good in its simple form, in its ML form. It's it is a clean, and especially before this year, it was a very, very just basic event, but it was so fun to watch, and you couldn't really complain with it. You couldn't really argue it. It's just fun to watch. And then so now they're kind of adding like the flashing lights and everything. And so things are getting a little bit busy out there in the Collision field. Now it's starting to lose some of that charm. So,
yeah, I'm thinking maybe it would have been better to not have used Collision at all in this series. Just because, like, again, they went too hard with it. There wasn't much they could do beyond that. That would be too excessive. They probably should have come up with a different type of event. Maybe we should try and figure out what that should have been. After we rate this, of course, because we haven't rated it yet.
That's a fair question. I will give you a fair question. We can postulate on that. I love the word postulate today. Whatever. Sometimes I get stuck on words. Like sometimes, like there was a week where I love the word unfathomable. I think it's a great word. But there was a week where I said it way more than anyone should say the word unfathomable within a week period. Probably like 4 times as much. Even if you were someone who needs to say it a lot. So it's just a fun word. So, I mean, today I just like to say postulate a lot. No matter. Rating. Here we go. Rating. This one for me. So regular Collision, original Collision before 2020 was a 9 out of 10. I think I gave 2020s either a 9 out of 10 as well or an 8 out of 10. Probably an 8 out of 10.
I thought you rated it lower because I thought you didn't. I could have sworn you didn't like how many traps there were. I could have sworn.
It was a con for me, but I like Collision. I think I gave an 8 out of 10. Someone have to check me on that. MSWpodcast@gmail.com, dear. Sorry. That doesn't even make sense. So this one probably a 5 out of 10, if I'm honest with you, just because 5 out of 10. It's not a bad event. Honestly, I liked Fidget Spinner Collision. I liked it in 2017. I liked the chaos of it, but for whatever angles and lighting they use, hard to follow. They make graphics mistakes. They made scoring mistakes, and honestly, the event was just too confusing. Why did they use 5 marbles instead of 4? That makes it more confusing. I mean, that's a little thing, by the way. No one pointed that out. No one.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They usually use 4 marbles. They do not use the backup in Collision. Am I wrong? No, wait.
Well, no.
They do.
They did in the most recent one, at least. Right? I don't know if they did.
When did they make that switch? When did they make that switch? I actually don't remember. I guess it didn't matter as much in ML when they made that switch because it was like there's not much going on in the field. But when you have 5 marbles plus all the fidget spinners, it's bananas. You can't follow it. You cannot follow.
Sergey does say that apparently they do tend to use 5. So maybe it was for forgetting like the older versions of Collision. They probably have been using. Well, except for maybe when they didn't have backups, of course. Like so they didn't. So Collision 2016 didn't have 5 because they didn't have 5 marbles in the team.
But I know. But again, I was about to freak out about that, but I realized that it probably didn't mean much to me before because the field was so bland and basic, which was probably a good thing. And now the field, so now it's just too much. So 5 out of 10 on this event. Man, come on, JMR. JMR's got to take a few weeks. Kind of collect themselves and come back and focus here. Okay, they can make good content. They can accomplish making good content. They gotta refocus and they gotta take their time. Okay, and use their time wisely here. Honestly, so hire more people. I mean, God, you have like 1.5 million subs. Hire one other guy to focus on this full time and give him money. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man, I'm thinking about my rating here. I think the lowest rate I gave was Black Hole Funnel. I think I said 2 for Black Hole Funnel.
I think I said actually 1 for that.
But for this one, honestly 5. Yeah, that fits perfectly. Like it is just it's so middle of the road. Like it's Collision and it has some standout moments, but like the air. And you know what? With the scoring errors and how that affects the standings, I feel like I should drop down to a 4. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bouncy ball, like keeping it at a 5 for me, if I'm honest with you. Bouncy ball's nice.
Bouncy ball is cool. I won't deny. The bouncy ball. Give that ball a name and have it come back.
Yeah, no, for real. I actually really enjoyed its inclusion. It added and again, when I was talking about a vertical component, it's really weird to think about it that way. But because marbles rarely leave the ground, especially to a specific event where they leave the ground, like diving or something, there is rarely a vertical component in events. Most events don't have vertical action. Bouncy balls bouncing, the other ball bearings flying up into the air. That was a big pro. A vertical component in an event that usually doesn't have one does add to it. Honestly, you take half of the traps out of this event, leave the fidget spinners, leave the vertical stuff in the bouncy ball, you have yourself a fun event. Hopefully you can see better. So, I mean, it was good to see that. Wof wants to address, before we get to emails here, we're about to cover them. Wof does want to address what would be a good replacement. Yeah, man, live chat, man, please, something. Thanks for coming to the live chat, Ahmed Stedman. By the way, your email is going to be addressed in like soon on the show, so excited for you there. Thanks for emailing in. He says, I completely agree. Black Hole Funnel is hands down the worst event JMO put on. Well, you have come to the right podcast by far. I think that was the only video that I've disliked on the JMR channel. I'm going to defer to live chat and to Wof first about a replacement event for the 5th one. It's a good thought. I don't have anything right this second. I'm gonna try to think.
I mean, Amelia, yeah, I don't either. Like, cause I hadn't considered that idea. I was just like, okay, I'll see what they do and how it turns out. I didn't consider the idea that there was like that Collision had already gone extreme in 2020, and so there wasn't much more to go. So, what would be a better?
Well, I have an idea, Wof. I have an idea. Instead of just trying to think, why don't we break down what Marble ManiaX has included? And then kind of let it force itself into an answer. Let's do that. So let's think about what Marble ManiaX has. Marble ManiaX had a diving event, a water-based event, an event that had extreme verticals and speed component with marbles that were really hitting intense speeds and falling and stuff. That event there. So that event is included. Good. Great. We have that. Yep. We have an event that focused on funnels. Great. We had an event that focused on funnels. Cool. Best event in Marble League, in Marble Sports right now. Good, we have it. Okay, we have an event that was an elimination obstacle course race, which that was fun. I hate Plinko, but that was a fun event. And again, I think I did enjoy that event overall anyway. So that's a good event. We have obstacles. We had extreme speed and like airtime. And we had funnels. Good. That's 3 that exist. Well, the other one, bowling. We had some weird sport, right? This would be more like soccer and ML or like hockey. We had a weird sport that was, or like curling, a very type of event like that you kind of slow things down. It's about precision. It's about the sport and the scoring of the event. We have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's technically a derivation off of archery in that like you're aiming for dominoes, but like it's so different that I would still consider it like a pretty separate
I would definitely
thing.
consider it a separate event.
Giant ramp, you loop to loop, you jump, and then you knock into several dominoes like that like have different point values and stuff like that. Like
I love curling. I agree.
I think it is a very big derivation of archery essentially.
Yeah. So all those exist. What does that leave? What is not in? Now, Collision, of course, is an event that didn't really find a place in any of those other 4. So that's fair in their choice. But I mean, again, we're with the assumption it didn't fit. What else is not there? Okay, we don't have any event that requires racing. We actually don't.
That's true.
And so I think we just cornered our answer. Honestly, I think that corners the answer immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't even have that. I actually really like the method issues because I didn't realize that until we.
That was actually really good. Yeah.
There is no racing event in Marble ManiaX. There isn't. And Extreme Sports has racing, so it's not out of the topic. So why was there no racing? Honestly, there was no relay racing. There was no regular racing. There was no open field racing. There was nothing. I mean, yes, technically obstacle course was racing, but again, that was way more Plinko than it was racing.
Like the thing about extreme races, the main ones that come to mind is like maybe something like motocross, but also like like the X Games, like the extremely goofy movie, like the skateboard and like other type of racing that they did in that. Like that's something that comes to mind. Like, and that also led to another idea of maybe not racing, but like just something that's similar to the X Games, because it's based off it's inspired by the X Games.
Here's what needed to happen. I believe that this would have been the perfect cap event. Yeah, I left extra silence there. To Marble ManiaX. A time trial racing event where 1 marble from each team gets to race, and the goal is to put up the best time possible. The racing event would be ideally with dirt. You should know something more extreme. It would have moguls. It would have jumps in the air. It would have, I don't know, maybe a loop-de-loop. I don't really know. It would have that kind of aspect to it, kind of like if you watch BMX racing and how those courses look with the big turns and the jumps and the moguls, like that. And it would have like a course probably about 30 seconds to a minute long. Each marble would go once, try to put on the best time. And honestly, that would be a fun way to end. And the focus of that, because you have such a difficult race course and not just a flat one, would be observing the marbles trying to make their way through the course and trying to maximize time. There'd be a lot for Greg to talk about. It would be extreme. They'd be kicking up dirt. There'd be air time, but it'd be fast. It would be racing based. Yeah, it's not racing if you only have 1 marble at a time, but racing against the clock is still considered racing in this topic that we're discussing. I think that would have worked much better. Honestly, you still could do the same thing and have 1v1 racing or something like that. 1v1 racing would work very well with 8 teams. So you could adjust that event, and instead of time trials, do the same thing but with 2 marbles, 1v1, and that would also work amazing. But that's needed to be how it ended, because that would completely divert your expectations. I imagine this inside track with the stadium lights, but it's dirt. It's like big dirt mounds everywhere. There's like tarps where there shouldn't be tarps. That's always reminds me, like, you ever see one of those like inside, there's just tarps everywhere for some reason. That would be an epic way to end. And if they had done that, then that event might have been a 9 out of 10. But instead, we ended with a kind of a bootleg Marble League Collision, and there was the bouncy ball, but the bouncy ball not good enough to account for more than 5 points. So that's my assessment.
I feel like that's not a bad idea, but I think because dirt race is probably the most extreme, right, like chaotic racing we've seen. But I feel like it's too similar to Marble League. So I think maybe extreme triathlon, where like there's multiple like different types of like environments, and not just like moon sand or that fake sand, like real, like dirt, real sand, and somehow they could do it water, and then maybe even ice or snow. Like if they could do it fast enough, like it's like a big track that's got several different types of environments to race on. I think that would be really cool. It'd be very hard to do and take a lot of time. Absolutely.
It would take time to make, though dirt is everywhere. I use dirt everywhere. It's easy to get. You know?
Yeah, but the main problem is like just trying to connect the two environments in a seamless way that doesn't take up a lot of time. Like you gotta get like a lot of sand and dirt together, and then you gotta figure out like other environments. Like you could try and do water. We've talked about like how you could have like an isolated water section that doesn't bleed over into the next, and I feel like the only way you can do that is just have it be the last section, because it's like just physically impossible to really trap the water with. I mean, it's not impossible.
I actually came. This is a really funny story, but wait, finish what you're saying, and I'll let you tell you this story.
But like maybe water, like ice, I guess, but like you'd have to have like really cold environments to get that to work. But then, what other thing? Like have them race through fire, I guess. Like
start to melt the glass off.
Yeah, it would have to be a very low heat.
Yeah. It's a quick story before we get to emails. So I had a project for my engineering club, one of my engineering. Man, I said engineering 3 times and said no sentence. I'm so sorry. For one of my engineering courses in college, I had a project, and basically the project was you have to come up with something that you're writing this memo, like, I want to create this idea that hasn't been created before. This is what I would need to create it, and this is how it would work. Obviously, we weren't creating the thing because it was just to focus on writing the memo and coming up with an idea and being able to explain it, but we had to come up with one. I couldn't come up with anything in my head that made sense that was related to professional engineering. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do something crazy and just do something like Marble Sports related, because why not? That's what came to my mind. So I came up with this idea to have a water, to create a water-based part of a Marbula 1 circuit track that's like wasn't at the end of the track. It would be part of the circuit. And I imagined a solution where the water is kind of pumped onto a section of the track, and then it all dissipates through a grate about, say, 10 lengths down. So it's like a drainage system. The water drains into this grate down into this bucket, which then that water collects and is pumped back up. And so there's a whole segment of the track that just has this water cycle on it. But the marbles, of course, they don't fall through the grate holes while the water does. They kind of race through the track, and it wouldn't affect them that much, but it would allow to have actual moving water on track for a section of the track that's not the end, and you have to just use a tank. So I just want to point that out when Wof mentioned the water thing. I think that idea would actually work.
That's actually pretty cool. That just made me think about like how the old I don't know what it was called, but it was like I think it was called a water race, where, like, you know, it was like a street gutter, like a brick street gutter that had like water running down, and like Yella had them racing down that, and then made me think about the rafting, and then I just realized, like, I know it's because of COVID, but like we haven't had so many outdoor races in a long time, and it's kind of, I really miss it, honestly.
Agree.
It's a nice aesthetic. I
agree. You gotta miss them. You gotta miss them by far. Sergey says he came up with a fire racing idea first. Did you? I agree, though. That would be so cool. We're gonna give him the credit for that, because
I don't know. I mean, that was. I think it's public knowledge, but that was the planned final event for M Games since day one.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Hershey and I, like, we were kind of talking about, like, how are we gonna do this? Like, maybe we would have kerosene rain down from above and just constantly covering the track.
That's stupid. That's dangerous, is what that is.
It is. It's like, is there a safe way to do this?
Okay. There we go. Emails, guys. Well, it's time for the email segment. We don't really have a song for this, but let's go to the email segment. Okay, emails, guys. Hopefully you guys, the people who emailed in, waited and came to the end here to listen for emails, because we usually cover them at the beginning, but we wanted to make sure we got through Marble ManiaX. Emails, 3 emails, 2 new emailers. So thanks, guys, for emailing in. Remember, mswpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, Wof, so much. Okay, so Ahmed Stedman writes in. I think hopefully he's still in the chat so we can kind of engage with us during his email. Because he's in before. He says, hello, Wof and Marble Guy. With the expansion to 32 teams, I was thinking about how the JMA should handle qualifying. Good to start thinking about that. We will be covering that soon, probably. Top 3 finishers and hosts plus 4 teams relegated leaves 24 teams vying for 12 spots. Right. Okay. Well, this year it's different for some reason because we're not relegating teams. But right. Yeah, that's true. Wait, that's true, right? So because usually it's 16,
that is
4,
true.
12, and then showdown. Oh no, is he accounting for that showdown's gonna have 16 now? Because he's saying 24. Because 16 would go down to 12 from ML, and then showdown, assumably, will now have 16, but only 12 advancing. Yeah, he says yeah, so he's accounting for that. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So 24 teams vying for 12 spots. That's true. That's current information for this year. There are many, many configurations possible with 24. Well, you're damn right. Last year, it was 2 groups of 12, top 6 each qualify. But it also could be one big group of 24. Top 12 qualify. 3 groups of 8. Top 4 qualify. 4 groups of 6. Top 3 qualify. And even 6 groups of 4. Top 2 qualify. I'm a proponent of the more groups, the more probability of variations of teams qualifying for ML. Leads to more interesting matchups. Started a sentence with leads to more interesting matchups instead of the same old, I love how he said old, teams participating. Savage Beaters and Rangers. Okay, Savage Beaters and Rangers, they participate every year because they're good. That's why they participate every year. They don't participate every year because they need to change the structure of the qualifying. Those 2 teams will, and I expect them to almost always be participating in a Marble League. It'd be very disappointing to see either of them not qualify. They are both the best current teams in Marble League. By far. The Savage Beaters are way the best teams in Marble League. And our Rangers are within that top 3 easily. They compete every year because they are good teams and they deserve the spot. They deserve the spot. They deserve a spot held for them about 3 years down the road because of how much better they are than other teams. I do agree with your point, though, otherwise, about not having the same old teams participating. I would like to see new teams. But Speeders and our Rangers, particularly, if you work for the spot and get it, I think that they need that to me that's respected. And then he says, "What are your thoughts?" Oh, sorry, I should have just finished the email. He says, "P.S. Marble Guy, your hatred for the Indigo Stars, bro. What am I missing? I just don't like them, man. I think the team is just—it's kind of like." I don't like the name, just like I don't like the name Purple Rockets. I think they're a very nothing team. Like, they don't have really any fun backstory. They're kind of a boring team. They don't really have a fun base idea. Like the O-Rangers, oranges, haha, funny. Green Ducks, quack. Mellow Yellow. That's just cool to say out loud. Indigo Stars just sounds eh. And, like, what's an Indigo Star? Like, what am I going to really, like, grab onto there when I'm going to enjoy? Also, they are not a good team. Who cares about them? I don't know. That being said, thoughts on this? Wof. Let's see what you say first. Qualifying. What do you want? What do you want to see of what he said?
I honestly, I see the point he's making, and it's a good one. Because in the qualifying for 2021, if you just ended up in the wrong bracket with the best teams, then you're basically screwed.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
It's both brackets had a bad one. One had the Savage Beaters and the Rangers. The other one had the Raspberry Racers, who just dominated the entire qualifiers basically
by far.
So it's like that wasn't fair for anybody. So I think 6 of 4 is too small. I think the best one might be 4 groups of 6 with
you have to say how I said it.
Oh, the top 4 groups of 6.
I love you, Wof. Awesome. My thoughts. God. I don't like 4 groups of 6 for this particular situation. I see Wof's point, though, so I'm not 100% against it. I just don't necessarily love it. I see why 24 is bad. Because if you always do 24 together, then you're very likely going to always see a certain grouping of 6 teams always make it. Savage Spaders and Rangers deserve it, but I mean other teams too that are just always good. And then even though they deserve to make it, then let them really deserve to make it in smaller groups. So like at least there might be some groups where like we're going to see the Strixes, we're going to see the Blackjacks, we're going to see the Pinkies in their like third different uniform, you know, like we're going to see new teams even though the other good teams are still given a deserving and fair chance to make it and we will still see new teams. So I agree that 24 is bad. Obviously, 6 of 4 is a terrible idea because there's just way too many groups and that's going to get really confusing. But thanks for throwing out those numbers. 12 groups of 2. I think that would be so outrageous. It would be funny in its own way. I mean, weird thought, but if they pulled that off right, if they presented it well, wouldn't it be epic to have 12 groups of 2 and have every qualifying spot be a 1v1? There'd be something fun to that, I will say. I know it's kind of bananas, but it's fun. There's something cool about that.
Maybe not for the entire competition, maybe like the last event of the qualifier.
Listen, I don't know, but like if it was presented well, then and like edited right, it could be cool. Two groups of 12 is where I usually lean here because it's just divided enough that you're at least spreading somewhat thin the teams who are definitely going to make it. There's like 4 teams you can expect to make it every year based on like the past 3 years of skills. Savage Beaters and Rangers, of course, being 2 obvious ones right now. I think Raspberry Racers have risen to be one of those teams by far now, and Mellow Yellow probably as well. Obviously, 4 of them are already auto-qualified, so, I mean, you have to remove some names and replace them with others. But Ahmed likes that idea with the 12 and 2. I think it's funny. I think it's a fun idea. But, I mean, there's usually like 3 or 4 that you, like, from the 24 you expect. So you do spread a decent thinness when you do 2 groups of 12. I am behind 3 of 8. I like 3 of 8. I think 3 of 8 is a nice spread where you're going to have a group of teams that are all not automatic makes, or you're going to have all the automatic qualifiers spread thin enough that there's going to be spots in all the groups of 8 for teams that are not going to automatically make it. So I like 3 of 8. I think 3 of 8 does start to get confusing mentally for the viewers, but I still think it would work. I'm a 2 of 12, 3 of 8 guy.
Like the 3 of 8 it felt weird like to have an odd number, but like I do get that point. I'm fine with be 3 of 8 or 4 of 6. I'm fine with both of those.
The problem with I think I would want someone to try to convince me either way on either 3 of 8 or 12 or 2 of 12. Because I'm not really sure yet. Someone give me some more information, but I think both of them work. The reason that 12 of 2, even though it's a fun idea, it would be hard because like Ahmed just said in the live chat, he would say Arranger Speeders, Raspberries Limers, BOC Primary. Like, those are matchups, but like, Arranger Speeders, if you match up Arranger Speeders, then one of them's not making it. But they're both very deserving and the best teams in Marble League right now, and they should be making it. Both of them should be making it. I really firmly believe that. So it wouldn't make sense to put Arranger Speeders, but then to not put Arranger Speeders, to instead put Speeders and Indigo Stars because you want to give all them, all the good teams a chance to make it. Then it's Speeders and Indigo Stars. Speeders and Indigo Stars. Right? So, I mean, like, who's going to win? I mean, I don't even have to... I'm not going to answer the question. I'm literally not going to answer the question. I'm just going to say the 2 team names again. Speeders and Indigo Stars. Who's going to win? Come on. Right? So, I'm not answering the question. So, they would have to come up with a very, very, very strict and consistent and just quantitative way to pair the teams where it's hard to really make any complaints because you just know that that's the way the structure is. But even then, it would get very volatile having 12 of 2, but it would be a fun idea. No matter on that. Let's do the next couple emails here. That's a fun email. I appreciated that one a lot.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great one.
Yeah. Marbula 1/Glasscar. Oh, Kermit K. Do you know what you're getting yourself into here? Written in by Braden Adkins, YouTube manager. Mama Mabel's in. What?
It's a YouTube channel. I think it's about animal.
Oh, I
like,
thought
it's
like
an animal shelter.
I thought for a second that this was supposed to be like a manager of the YouTube company trying to like get us to say that one of them's copying so they can report the videos or something. That would be funny. No, good luck with your channel. That seems like a cool idea. I just was so confused for a sec. Hello, MSW podcast. Do you think that Fubica's glass car? Oh my, wow. The words I'm reading right now. Do you think Fubica's glass car is a ripoff of Marbella 1 there? Don't get me wrong. I love both. You love both. Me too. I actually do like glass car. I just would like to know your opinion. All right, go to the Chrome here, Kermit K. I'm gonna show you something on the Chrome. Okay, here you go. So, if you're listening not on the Chrome, then stop for a second and go to the Chrome. So I'm gonna show you. So Marvel Plus Worldwide, this is the channel. Oh look, we're streaming right now. You should join the stream. Let's scroll down. We have to scroll down a ways because we keep racking up the episodes. We are going to have to go all the way down to 50.
I think it's season 3. I believe it's season 3.
Beginning of season. He loves the season thing. 56, I believe. 56. Yes. Don't lend a hand, Fubeca. Do you see this? I'm going to click on this. I want everyone to see this. Who's here right now? This episode is an hour and 12 minutes and 37 seconds. So, a substantial episode for one topic. And the description is, on this episode, we get a bit more serious as we discuss the drama surrounding Marble Fubica before moving on to Event 3. Some long comments here, as you might imagine. This is the episode that addresses in relative entirety the glass car Marbula 1 problem, because this was around when I resigned from Fubeca, and this was around when this drama actually occurred, and we actually fully addressed the topic. The topic did come around more than once. I think either in half pipe time, I would say that if you really want a full conclusive bout of this topic, I would say you want to cover between 55 and 58, because I know there's 56 is very, very heavy on this, and then I think there was one other episode, either 57 or 58, and probably not 55, but the other two that has another section where I kind of go on about this.
Yeah, so it was especially the early ones, I would say. Yeah. We did bring up the whole thing, I think, throughout the entirety of Glass Car at some points. So there's like at least, I think, 8 videos that might go over it, but not. I'm pretty sure only a few of them go over it in detail.
But here's the deal. So now that I've given you the full bank information, you can also always message us if you want some more information. Here's the deal on this. The conclusion I think that we came to. Man, I actually don't even remember what we came to, because I know at the time I was working with Fubica. And Fubica, there was a lot of opinions, because for the time I was working with Fubica and hadn't decided to resign yet. I was obviously saying that Fubica wasn't copying. And when I talked with Fubica, because I used to comment for the channel. I commented the first 2 things of Glasscar. He said to me that he actually had the idea, and it's not even Glasscar, it's more Marble Circuits. It's not Glasscar. Glasscar is not a copy at all. Glasscar is not even close to a copy. Let's rebase the question here. Marble Circuits is the direct, very close copy to Marbula 1. Glass Car is a completely different idea. It uses bigger marbles, a much bigger track, and a completely different track type. Yes, it's a circuit idea, but I would say that's definitely different enough from Marbula 1. So that one's not a copy by far. Yeah. If you want to address the copy, you want to talk about Marble Circuits, which I did commentary for the whole first season of that. And yes, they use like the same tracks, same ideas, and sometimes ideas would come up on his channel right after they were used on, like, for example, like the booster things with the little chevrons. They came on like Fubica right after they were used in Marbula 1 or something. So people kept saying things. Marble Fubica told me that before JMR released any Marbula 1, he had the idea for that and was just waiting to make it happen. So that's what he said to me at the time. Do I believe that? I'm not sure. My final opinion on that is very hazy. I don't remember what I ended with saying in 56, but I think my opinion now on that is that the 2 things are very similar, and one person, I don't know if one person's copying the other, but it's true that the 2 are very similar. I think that it's more likely, based on the attitudes of the channels and what I know about both channels, it is way more likely that Fubeca copied JMR than JMR copied Fubeca. But I think it's most likely that Fubeca 50% copied JMR and 50% had a creative idea, and it was bad timing. Because the sense I got, because I talked to a lot of people heavily involved in this, the sense I got is that there was, of course, Fubeca does stuff like that. He steals from other channels when he sees things. I believe he does that. I've seen him do that. I've seen him do things because he saw JMR do them. Small things, but things that he very well did. That happens, right? But I don't know if he stole the full idea. I'm hazy on that. I can't give you a final answer. But yeah, they're very similar, and I would, if I had to put money on it, I would say that it would be more likely that Fubeca was doing something wrong than JMR. Again, though, this is a long time. That's 56. We are now over double the amount of episodes from that episode. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you go listen to that. I might even go want to hear that again just to hear what I actually said. And because there might be more facts in it. Because I think that was one of the episodes that I stressed, let's bring facts. And I think Wof had a lot of facts that time that helped us come to a better conclusion. So I'm going to let you listen to that. And I might give it a listen to kind of see where the facts lay on that and see what I actually said. But, then he did the thing in Glass Car where he used his hand. Yeah. So now he's giving a semblance of untrustworthiness. So even if whether he did copy or not, but now he's giving off this untrustworthy front here, not front, untrustworthy, just character, personality, where you're like, can I even trust Fubeca at all? And now you more tend to believe that he might do something wrong here. Also, back to Glass Car again, I do think it's different enough from Marble 1, and also Glass Car was my idea. I love the claim. I really want to make sure that this is claimed. I told Fubeca, dude, for the circuit race, you got to change it up. I think you should use big marbles and big track, and that's how the marble booster thing kind of came out. That was kind of like my trying to work him away from Marble 1. Not use teams. Glass Car doesn't use teams. Glass Car use single marbles. So that I was trying to pull him away from marble circuits, which is how Glass Car was born. And then, of course, when I stopped working with him, he kind of went back to using countries that nobody even knows about as teams. So that's Fubeca. Yeah. Kermit K, thanks for writing in. I'd love to hear. I would, if you're hearing this part, I would love if you listen to those episodes and then actually came back with your own current conclusion based on what we said, and try to maybe kind of remind us on what the big points were there. Just so, because you seem interested in this topic, and I want to make sure we cover it to satisfy you as much as possible. So, last email, and then we got to wrap up.
Actually, I just wanted to say, I just want to add really quickly on the Fubeca thing. Like I confused Glass Car and Marble Circuits there. Marble Circuits, I would say, definitely was more of a copy, especially since as it went on, it took on more elements of Marble 1 than when it started with, and it kind of like he's doing Marble Circuits again, and I'm looking at the thumbnails, it's exactly the same thing again. It's like, dude, come on, like using the track is fine because that's Corsetti's track. Everyone can use Corsetti's track. It's more the aesthetics that he adds on top of it. It's it's so similar that it feels like it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, come on.
I agree. I don't know. You have to go see what was said there, and definitely it is. It was a big deal for the community. That's why I ended up resigning from my first ever commentary job that was paying me money, which it's ended up working out. Again, I'm getting a lot more from the other channels, but no matter. Okay. Here we go. Adu, last email of the day. Thanks Adu for writing in, and we love Adu by Fair. How it feels to be a coach plus MX Event 5. Adu, he's got a big one here. I remember you often propose community managers have some brains behind coaching decisions. While it's hard to see how it would work in a channel with a big following, it's tough to implement, but not hard to see, in my opinion. some small tournaments let people decide who plays. I coached a historically middle-tier team to championship contention. We led with 2 events to go. After a big turnaround that included 2 golds in a row at the midway point, guess what happened? A penultimate place! Oh my god, using the big buzzword. Still, just 1 point behind the leader in the final because most rivals also fumbled. Now it's a decider and the team needs to score. What happened? We choked. I put the best athletes to close out, and they got only 2 points in 2 events, but they salvaged an auto qualification for next season. Just wanted to share the story, but moving on. I'm going to stop here for a sec. That's why I want community coaches, because community coaches can change the outcome of events. They can. Choosing different marbles will affect how they perform. And I think it's really fun, and that could get a lot of people involved in actually thinking through and analyzing events closely, which would be good for marble sports as a whole.
Or maybe not even community coaches, just like someone on the committee who is dedicated to tracking marble stats to know, okay, this marble is the best for this event, so they should go here.
Well, one for each team so that there's character for each team. Really focusing on a single team would be nice. Just moving on, he says, Super Collision was chaotic, to say the least. Which is the goal of the event, but it's just too much to keep up with. Even Greg had some difficulty to comprehend it, you bet. Tens of traps, hard impacts, marbles flying into the crowd there, etc. Looking at the events, MX brought nice tweaks to the events. Some of them may be introduced in ML after a few modifications, but the organizational and production side was a nightmare, as this time a major scoring failure slipped right through. Well, let's go to the next page and wish Marble 1, I guess Season 3 now, will be the redemption. Next page of the proverbial marble sports book, story, novel, I'm assuming. I agree. We covered, I'm assuming that we kind of went right along with what you just said there when we covered Marble ManiaX earlier. I think you're confirming what we're saying. Like it was an event that just didn't have the polish and pristine of a usual JMR event. And it was a bad way to end such a creative idea. But it was also executed unwell as well. So, I don't know. Thanks for writing in.
Should we actually end the episode like doing a summary of the entirety of Marble ManiaX, like how we feel about it?
I mean, I feel like we kind of talked about that, but if you wanted to have a formal finish, we can do that just quickly because we're at an hour and 14 already.
Like rate the whole thing, I guess.
This is a long ass episode. I will say. But anyway, yeah, I do. Thanks for writing in. Thanks for everyone who wrote in for the first time.
Yes,
MSWpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to take your emails. I hope our answers were satisfactory to y'all. Yeah, I think that's fine. Why don't you do that? Why don't you give a final sentence? I'll give a final sentence, and then we'll officially close the book on Marble ManiaX and look forward to the returns of Marble 1 and Marble League, which, those are going to be exciting this year. I'm excited for both of those. Go ahead, Will.
Marble ManiaX, it had really cool ideas and it improved some of the ones that they did before to a much greater height, like extreme diving. And bowling was finally introduced into this world. Final Collision was just an incredible improvement on funnels. Obstacle course, I always wanted an obstacle course event, and this is the first step. It's just maybe a bit too slow, and while I'm not bothered as much by it, I know Brendan and think others are bothered by that being a Plinko board, and then Super Collision just was a very bad way to end it. This is leaves a sour taste, and it affected, their mistakes affected the entire ending for some of the teams, like where they placed on the board. So overall, 6 or 7.
Yeah, the pick one. You can't just say 6 or 7. It's pussy.
I think I'll go with 6 because like the halftime shows, they started out cool with a lot of stop motion, but then it kind of just stopped being that. It's more like just a light show. So like some of the aesthetic, like it was really the aesthetics of this series was really strong to start, especially, but then as it went on, it felt like they kind of lost more and more of it. Both in terms of the environmental aspects, like in diving had this giant field and the trucks and stuff, and then like they kind of did less of that, and there was less stop motion during the shows, so it felt less alive and all that stuff.
Okay, that's fair. From my end, if you observe Marble ManiaX, from what I'm gonna start trying to call this. If we really revert back to this a lot, I'm gonna call this the 2016 Zoom level, which again, definition meaning. If this came out in 2016, meaning when this came out as the start of Marble Sports on YouTube, because that's, again, I consider it start Marble Sports. That's when JMR posted the first series of Marble Olympics, 2016 Zoom level. If this was in that space, Marble ManiaX is a 9 out of 10. It's creative. It's awesome. Yes, there were mistakes that were more admin related, but the events themselves were really cool. Super Collision and Super Collision in 2016 is a fun event to watch. Overall, it's a 9 out of 10 in the Zoom level of 2016. In today's Zoom level, in today's framing brackets of 2022, I agree that this would be more of a 6, 7 out of 10. I'm going to go with 7 out of 10 because I love the creativity and the bouncy balls and the funnel. The 10 out of 10, it has a 10 out of 10 event. The event 3 was so good. Or was that 4? Whichever one it was with the funnel.
It was 3.
Those were big things. It loses 3 points, obviously, because there were delays, copyright problems, errors, and just kind of like inconsistency in the admin and the production side, which does affect how we're going to view the events. And that's why I'm even representing something like a 2016 Zoom level to differentiate between marble sports as a pure marble sports judging and let me restate that. Judging the marble sports, the purity of these actual events, as opposed to judging the production events as a whole. That's what I'm trying to differentiate with those Zoom levels. So, again, you got to cut down on the it's kind of like when you're writing a report, but you're spelling a bunch of things wrong and you have like 3 periods at the end of a sentence by accident, or, you put a colon instead of semicolon. That's what this was. It was a good paper, but just a lot of errors, spelling, proofreading, grammar, sentences were a little backwards. And like, you can't say the content the content of the paper was solid, but it needs that tuning to become something where I'm like, this is something I'd put on my wall. Or what do people do with papers? Put them on, like, I don't know, submit them to, like, the library? I have no idea.
They frame them, they publish them, I don't know.
Publish them, whatever. That being said, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time, whenever that is. Wof, take us out.
All right, then. Roll on, Marble sports fans.